Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mark. Welcome back. So today I want to address something that I get a lot of questions about regarding the cameras, what kind I use, where I put them. We'll go from there. Alright, first off is this guy. This is the newest camera that I have. It's called the DJI Osmo Pocket. And this thing is neat. Let's turn it on. You can see a little... So now that guy is on a completely magnetic gimbal. It will float and move very seamlessly, so you'll have no violent shaking or anything like that. What I use this one for mostly is to talk to. Go ahead and turn that camera around. That's what we got there. This guy's amazing. They're about 350 bucks just for the camera. And the mount that I have, this mount I got on eBay, I believe, for about 12 bucks. And it comes with this initial piece right here, and the rest of all this stuff is just attachments that I have for GoPro stuff, but it all works the same. And it came with that little cradle that you see the camera sitting in. So that's the DJI. And like I said, this is the newest guy I got, and you can almost see that camera adjusting as I move it around. You'll never have a shitty image. If you got an extra 350 bucks and you're looking for an amazing camera, this is the one. I would buy this before I'd buy a second GoPro or any other action cam. I also use my iPhone a lot. The iPhone has an amazing camera. Let's go check. Let's go find it. This is an iPhone 7 Plus, and like I said, it's got a killer camera. If you are just trying to get pictures and video of things quickly, I'm sure Samsung phones have great cameras. I've had an iPhone now for a while, and I've had great success with this camera, whether filming or taking pictures. So don't forget about this guy in your arsenal. And there's several different mounts you can buy for it. So I tend to mount stuff, you know, around the console. You know, this mount right here that I have on the GoPro can be used on any camera that I have. Just a claw mount. You can put it anywhere you want. You know, when you're doing launching the boat videos, you can attach it to the back of your car. You can put it on your trolling motor. You know, this thing's pretty versatile. And you can put it anywhere you want. So that's pretty slick. Now, this is the camera that I started with, along with my iPhone. This is the GoPro Hero 4. Now, the reason I use this one is this was the first model, I believe, that they had in 4K. I have had zero complaints on the picture quality. Alright, so along with the GoPro 4, I have this waterproof case, which, you know, that's nothing new. And neither is this basically a selfie stick. But what I do with this guy is it extends out about 4 feet. If you want to put this underwater when you're doing a fish release, I don't mind sacrificing this guy. It's crappy metal, aluminum. You know, if something happens to it, I don't care. I bought this whole kit of accessories on Amazon for the GoPro stuff that included several different mounting options. The only one that I use besides that selfie stick is the chest. They call it a chesty. I think that's kind of lame, but basically it's a harness you put on. And for those of you that don't, I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about, or you've seen people wear it, or myself. You just mount the camera to this. So it's pretty simple, actually. You know, you just put it on, basically, like you. This camera I use the majority of the time when I'm fishing, because it will see everything in front of me. And essentially, all that happens is, boom. You know, and you're ready to film. So this guy, like, if you're gonna buy an accessory for your GoPro, I think this And you don't have to buy the GoPro one. If you want to be the guy that has all the stuff the same brand, go for it. But this works just fine. And I think this kit I bought had all kinds of pieces in it, different attachments, and it has there's actually a headband with the same attachment, so you can put the camera on your head if you want. I find that this sees everything when I'm fishing. Wherever I move, it's seeing it. So for those of you that don't have one of these, this is a good place to start. That's that. And then to take it off, it's pretty simple. There you go. You can also keep the waterproof cover on it if it's raining or you get wet. If you think you're gonna fall in the lake, I'd probably put the cover on it. I also hook this up when I'm driving, and it'll be attached to my dash somewhere looking right out the window. You never know what you're gonna see driving down the freeway. And I know they make all kinds of little cameras that you can put all over your car, and I have yet to see any that have the picture quality of one of these or the Samsung 360. These cameras all have multi-purposes, not just to make these videos, but I use them all the time for recording my kids' sporting stuff and whatnot. This is the Samsung Gear 360. Notice that it has two big fisheye lenses, front and back. It will do a 360-degree image. I don't really do that. I use one side of it, and whatever it's facing, it's seeing 180 degree in any direction. It's a pretty cool piece. As far as, you can set it up and turn it on, and it's gonna see everything. It's not as directional as even my DJI or the GoPro. They're gonna see a lot, but this guy sees everything in front of it. Pretty cool. It's nice to have. I actually bought two of these on eBay used. Oh, it's been a year ago. And I scored on them in the middle of the night. Nobody was bidding or forgot to bid or whatever, and I got two for 75 bucks delivered. I think these were about $300 each when they came out. I made a fatal mistake with one of them. Right when I got it, I took it out fishing, and I had one of those suction cup mounts, and I had it on top of the motor. I didn't have it on the motor when I was running around the lake. I had it when I was fishing, and I was just relying on the trolling motor, so speed wasn't a factor. I had caught a fish and went back to make sure that it was on. It was on, everything was good. Went back up to the front of the boat and made a cast, and I heard a plop. That thing's at the bottom of Saguaro Lake somewhere in Mesa, Arizona. You got to be mindful of that. I think if I ever strap anything to the motor again, I'm going to tether it with something so that it can't fall in the lake. Otherwise, it's just not a good idea, I think, to put anything on your motor of value. Shame on me, but I still got one. All right, now we got to talk about the guy that I'm looking at right now. This camera is, this is the big dog in the arsenal. I tend not to take this out in the lake a whole lot because of the value of it. It's a Sony 4K camera, and this thing ain't cheap. If you want to look this up, it's a Sony FDR X53 camera. This is an amazing camera, and I'll take some pictures and stuff and video of it, but talking at it right now, it's tough to do both. Yeah, maybe we can. Let's see if we can do it. Let's use the DJI so we can get a little comparison. The recorder on this camera is second to none, at least of the cameras that I have. So this is what I tend to use when I talk, because it conveys audio far better. Let's film with the DJI. You can see what I'm talking about. It looks exactly like your standard video camera, but this one, if you can see, I don't know if you can see that lens in there floating around. I can see, all I see is the DJI floating around, but it's got amazing stability. And once again, like this camera, pretty much won't allow you to take a crappy image bouncing around. It really steadies the shot. It's amazing. It takes amazing pictures as well. So, I mean, if you're in the market for one of these Sonys, and you can afford one, it's pretty trick. Like I said, it's a Sony Handycam, but it's at the top of the food chain as far as that goes. It will create an amazing image, whether you're, like I said, whether you're taking pictures or video. This is the one. Like I said, there's a big price associated with this, so I mean, it's out of reach for a lot of people. If, you know, making movies or, you know, taking family videos, sporting events, whatever, this camera that I'm looking at right now is the one. All right, so there's some other mounting options that I use on the boat for the cameras that I picked up recently, and they're made by Scottie, the same company that makes the rod holders. They make all kinds of stuff to mount on kayaks and boats. I bought a couple different mounting options for different reasons, and we're going to show you that. One of them, in fact, is for the Fishfinder. It serves a purpose for cameras and fish finders. So let's get into that. The Scottie Rod Holders that I was talking about previously, we'll start with one piece of it. Wait for that helicopter to pass. It's kind of loud. Okay. Alright, so this is sold by itself. This is a Scottie. It'll hold either a GoPro style fitting or anything that has a 1/4-20 female end on it, and you just screw it down on it. For example, the Samsung camera has the GoPro fitting on it, and you just slide that in there, and there you go. So now you have this guy. I have 2 of these extensions, also by Scottie. All this stuff's made to fit together and be quick connect. All you do is you stick that in there, and it's in there now. In its entirety, you can make this thing pretty long. I mean, that in itself is roughly almost 2 feet tall. You know, you stick that on the boat, it's going to see everything. And like I said, this one sees 180 degrees wherever that camera's facing. This is, I recommend getting one of these. If you can find them cheap on eBay, this is an amazing deal. So I also have a second one. Now, I mean, it's tough to even see all this, but that thing is big. And what I do is it'll sit in any one of my rod holders. Even I have Canon rod holders, and I have 4 mounts around the boat. It'll sit right there, and I mean, this thing's pretty tall, and it will see everything. Where I like to keep this though for the majority of the time, this particular camera, this particular guy right here spends most of its life. I mounted a Scottie rod holder on the vertical part of the storage deck behind the back seat. It's out of the way, you don't really see it. All it does is hold this guy. So let's put it in there, I'll show you. It's just like any, it's a Scottie rod mount, no different than any other. You put it in, and then you can articulate it in any fashion how you want it to be. This is how I do it. So what I like to do is articulate it in a way that it gets toward the center of the boat. Now if you have a passenger, you know, this could get in the way, but like I said, you can move it. This is how this guy looks when I'm in the boat. What it does is it trails up, and then it goes over the back seat to basically the center of the back seat, and it literally sees everything, including what's happening at the driver's seat. It can see that. That mount gets the camera up higher, and like I said, I can articulate it any way. If you want to swing it out over the boat, so now it's hanging out a foot over the boat. I don't know if you can see that. This mount is extremely versatile, and You can put any camera on it, including the one in my hand, the Sony. I don't like doing that, but you know, given the right day, as long as it's not crazy out, I would never hang this camera over the side of the boat like it is right now. But like I said, I got this guy pretty cheap. If something happened, it wouldn't be heartbreaking, but if something happened to this camera, that would suck. So if I ever did that, it's gonna obviously be that way. That way it's over the boat and it's not going anywhere. But yeah, you can see how it follows the contour. Pretty slick. And you can also mount 2 cameras to this at the same time if you so desired. I don't see the necessity, but it is an option. That pretty much covers the camera angle. I'm going to show you one other thing that I use this Scottie mount for that pretty cool deal. I mean, this thing's incredibly easy to take apart. You spin it and you just pull it apart. It's a 3-piece system that I have going on right here. Just put this guy away for a minute. Now, it can also be used for this guy. I have mounted a Scottie Rod Holder to the front deck of the boat, about 6 inches from where I have the trolling motor mounted. I mounted my trolling motor foot pedal dead center, and I'll show you how you can change the look of this Fishfinder real quick. It's a very cheap way to mount it and then have options. There's all kinds of mounts out there that vary in price. This one total, I think with all the attachments, I paid around 60 bucks. And that includes the camera attachment. So Scottie sells a Fishfinder mount that happens to fit the Lowrance. Any base that's this size, so that'll include the Elite 5 and most of the hook stuff. Below like 5-inch range. I don't know about the 7-inch if they have more of a gimbal mount. But at any rate, this is an Elite 5 Ti mounted to that guy. You put that extension, and you can turn it anyway, again, like you like. And what you have here, and we'll straighten this guy up. And I mean, I'm doing this stuff with one hand, basically, so that tells you how easy it is. And what this does is it gets your Fishfinder closer to you, to your seat. Now that guy is sitting about even with your lap if you're sitting in the boat. So you really can touch this as you're sitting instead of having to bend down. For a lot of you guys that have bad backs and stuff like that, it's pretty slick. And if you want to get crazy, you can add another extension onto it. If you're a guy that likes to stand, you can get that thing right up to you where you're touching it. I don't do that. The most I've ever done is just the one extension on it. And I find that helps me a lot at night. When I'm night fishing, I can just, it's right in front of me. I can just touch it. I don't have to bend down, do any of that jazz. I recommend this. I don't know how many people would do it. I just think it's pretty slick. Here, real quick, let's put the second guy on. All right. I don't know if you can see how tall that is. Hopefully this helps some of you guys that are thinking about putting cameras around your boat or different mounting options on how to put cameras on your boat.